Meanwhile, an article in the New York Times suggests that the US House Intelligence Committee chief might have colluded with the whistleblower. According to the piece, the anonymous CIA agent spoke to Adam Schiff's staff before filing his complaint. Here's how Donald Trump reacted to that.
There is a report that came out just before you and President Niinistö walked out here that the whistleblower met with a staff member of Adam Schiff prior
to the complaint
being filed.
It shows that Schiff is a fraud. I think it's a scandal that he knew before. I go a step further. I think he probably helped write it.
The only controversy the US House Intelligence Committee chief has got himself embroiled in, as RT's Ilya Petrenko explains.
If there was an award for the staunchest hater of President Trump, certainly this man would make it to the list of nominees. No need to remind why. All right, just watch this for a bit.
The president was essentially trying to coerce a foreign leader to help his presidential campaign.
There seems to be no floor below which this president can drop.
Serious a level of misconduct about his fundamental betrayal.
The president has told the American people that, yes, I leaned on Ukraine to manufacture dirt on my opponent.
And obviously, with that in mind, it's a piece of cake to guess what this guy's most cherished dream is: impeachment for the MAGA man.
It may be that we undertake an impeachment nonetheless.
That compels us to travel down the road towards impeachments. All those facts which are uncontested at this point compel us to move down the path of a formal impeachment inquiry.
Well, if you try and properly imagine yourself in Mr. Schiff's shoes, you'll probably say, oh yeah, what he's up to is totally legit, because Mr. Trump is on a mission to dig as much dirt as possible on his most dangerous Democrat political opponent. And for the president, all means are good, even if it's done through a phone conversation with Ukraine's president, who Mr. Trump asked to once again hit the trail of Joe Biden's son. And so Adam Schiff was like,
it is illegal, improper, a violation of oath, a violation of his duty to defend our elections and our Constitution for the president to merely ask for foreign interference in our election.
Well, it's time to remind you of a different phone conversation from 2017 between, not Donald Trump this time, Adam Schiff and supposedly the Speaker of the Ukrainian Parliament.
What's the nature of the compromise?
Well, there were pictures of naked Trump.
Okay. So you have recordings of both Sobchak and Buseva where they're discussing the compromising material on Mr. Trump?
Absolutely. On that meeting, Okupnik told Flynn that all those compromising materials will never be released if Trump will cancel all Russian sanctions.
Okay. Well, obviously we would welcome a chance to get copies of those recordings. So we will try to work with the FBI to figure out, along with your staff, how we can obtain copies of those.
Oops, I forgot to mention something really important. That was a prank. Although it seems Mr. Schiff was so hungry for the Trump compromat, he totally fell for it.
Schiff was pretty serious. He wrote all of what we said on the paper, remembered all the detail.
Surely, when you're looking for something to get Trump out of there, you're good to cross any lines. Nothing improper or probe-worthy. By the way, speaking of dealing with the Russians in some shape or form, as we know, anyone who gets themselves involved in that could be compromised or spied on for the rest of their lives. Mr. Schiff once spoke to us. RT. RT, made in Russia. Get it?
One of those members of Congress leading the effort is Adam Schiff from California. He joined me earlier.
I think they'll have the cumulative impact of making the FISA court much more transparent.
Should someone put him under a federal probe for that? He or his assistants were probably talking to a few Russians while the interview was being arranged. Oh, that was long before Donald Trump showed up in the White House politics. Should be fine then.
Schiff is certainly a very, Trump has also accused him of being shifty. And shifty, I think, is a much more apt description. I mean, what was going on with Schiff and those pranksters? I mean, that really was dirt. I mean, you're saying, oh, we've got some naked pictures of Trump with some Russian hookers. Do you want to see them? So, yeah, Schiff was ready to seize on that, whereas, I think Trump was asking, I think perfectly reasonable questions. Obviously, he wants to bring down Donald Trump. He tried to do it with Russiagate. I mean, Adam Schiff was really one of the key figures in Russiagate. And so now here he is. He's suddenly, from Russiagate, he's moved on to Ukrainegate. Trump's belief, which I think is reasonably based, that the origin of Russiagate is to be found in Ukraine. And he was asking Zelensky's help in investigating this. I think this case on Ukrainegate is even flimsier than Russiagate. So I think that will probably do a lot more to damage